off they go and everyone's set up. So glad to have them. They're housed here in this building, but they have rooms all around, and we will certainly make room for them at the preschool. So thank you, Joe. Appreciate you being here tonight. Go ahead.
All right. So my name is Bree Williams, and I am the coordinator. I will also be one of the classroom teachers next year as well too. I live in the JWPS community. I am in Meriden, and I'm excited to just bring preschool here. I've been a special education and general education preschool teacher for the last 9 years in Topeka Public Schools. But my daughter started kindergarten here, and about a month doing the commute with her, I've just kidding. We're going to try something new, and this opportunity became available, so I was very excited for it. A little bit about my background educationally is I do have my bachelor's degree in elementary education with an emphasis in early childhood unified. So I am able to serve students with both general education and special education, birth through 3rd grade, as well as general education K through 6. I also have a master's degree in special education high incidence, as well as a second master's degree in educational leadership.
Also with us tonight, we've done some hiring already in anticipation of some numbers. There's been people signing up at basketball games. There's been people at one of our kickoff to school event back in August. Some of you were putting your names on the list. So Edna Wells coming to us with 13 years of experience. She's sitting right here. Do you want to say anything more?
Well, I taught special education for a semester right after I graduated for 1st and 2nd grade in Holton, and I've been at Oskaloosa for the last 12 years and have been in 1st grade. I'm excited to be a Tiger.
Just board approved Monday night too. So yeah. Holly Ann Abel also here and brought a little someone with her.
I'm Holly Ann, and I taught 1st grade. Took a little break to raise this little one, and now excited to be able to come back together.
All right. Danielle Slimmer, Keystone Special Ed teacher, and I think some of you know her, and she's sitting right back there. Want to give a wave? You want to say anything?
I just love it for my life, so.
Now I see Kim is here. Keystone Specialist at the preschool. We will be partnering with Keystone, much like what you're familiar with, especially if you have a kindergartner or through 4th grade. How the rooms will be developed and how speech will interact and physical therapy and OT. So I do know we have Kim here. I saw Kim. Want to wait? Want to say anything? She was one of our preschool committee people that kept me in line. So, and I do see Hannah. Hi, Hannah. Hello. She's our educational psychologist. She helps with getting kids through our IEP system. And getting them in, getting them out, getting them reevaluated and all those good things. And I'm glancing the room. I might be missing someone. Do I have any other Keystone support? I don't think. I gave them a blanket invite, but some of them were busy. Some of them can come Tuesday. I know the director of Keystone Special Ed, for Belinda, she was going to try to come, but her mom had some health things, and she might make the Tuesday meeting. So we just invited people to come, but we are partnering with them just as we do here at the elementary school, just as you're used to. If you're in the Keystone preschool now at the high school, it is going to operate identical for that. And we will add more staff as we grow. If our numbers get big, we even have a 5th room. Right now we're planning for 4 rooms, 3 for sure, probably 4. I have room for 5. And if we need 6, hey, let's get that problem. Let's do that. So, and then currently para support for each room is also in line for special education paras as well. Positions are advertised, they're open, and we're going to be interviewing those soon as well. So staffing is moving right along, and we've got great board support for get this going. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I have our mission and vision. I have the overall district vision, which is to empower all students to think critically, build resilience, and to reach their full potential. And I also have JWPS preschool mission too. It's helped guide a lot of questions that I've had, as far as helping open and all of that. So it's our mission to provide all JWPS students with the opportunity to access early childhood education, and create a foundation of social emotional development, pre-academic skills, and an early love for learning and exploration. That exploration is going to be really big as we get into what our preschool day is going to look like. Our vision is to create an environment filled with opportunities for social emotional growth, cognitive development, and a foundation for learning through research-based best practices, exploration, modeling, as well as direct instruction to meet all of the needs of children.
Okay, who will serve? JWPS was going to design to serve 3 and 4-year-old students in the US 340 boundaries. At-risk students, this is where we're starting from. The state of Kansas is providing at-risk funding. It is something that's relatively new. And we'll get to what that is here in a little bit. There's some qualifiers. They are also on the application, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. So there's an at-risk level of this if you qualify to attend. Students with exceptionalities may also be part of this. That would be what we've referred to in the past as Keystone Preschool, because I had 2 preschools in the building. And am I going to the kneecap preschool or am I going down to see Keystone Preschool? Well, now they're JWPS preschool. And just like here in kindergarten, 1st grade, if a student has an IEP and they get services of any type, they're in the classroom learning and working with everyone. And that's what this is going to look like as well. Then we will also offer a tuition-based program for students that may not qualify in the other areas, because we want to have our doors wide open and have as many kiddos coming in as possible so they're getting kindergarten ready. Out-of-district students may be considered if we have open seats. We want to first start with our JWPS families, and if we have enough room and we can offer 5, 6, 10, 12 seats to out-of-district families like we do now here in the elementary school and through the district, we are open for that. But as we get started right here tonight, we're focusing on our boundaries. But if you're visiting here as an out-of-district family, don't worry. Like I said, we've got a 5th room, so I think we can make this work. Go ahead. What? I don't care.
Okay.
We did not practice. So.
These are just the at-risk qualifiers. Like you said, these are going to be on your application too. Just check any that apply to you. And so there's just 9 of them, and you can read through them on your application and just let us know. And
on Kansas Department of Education website, you type this in, there's explanations for each one that would take up 4 or 5 more slides. I shorted a bunch of information out of these and didn't get into the details. And some of them I know, and I'm not going to be able to quote these all or all of their expectations. Some of them would require proof in various ways. Just some paperwork or birth certificate information. This one is qualifying for free meals. That's what signals that one. So they're all a little bit different. You can get the bigger details online. Okay. So how will we serve students? So they are going to be what is called a blended classroom. Again, that just means that it looks like any other elementary classroom where all students are together. 3-year-olds will be in 1 to 2 classes, and then 4-year-olds will be in the other classes, so they will be split by age. Some students who have birthdays kind of earlier in the year might be placed with the older students, and then children who have younger birthday or later birthdays in the year can start the 3-year-old room as they turn 3. It just depends on that kind of cutoff. I set a cutoff for August 1st. If they do have a birthday where it's kind of that in between of you can't go to kindergarten quite yet after that 1st year, they can spend that 2nd year in that same classroom. And be almost like a model for the new students coming up. Same for those 3-year-olds. So my son, for example, turns 3 in January. If he started in a 3-year-old room in January, he would spend that second 3-year-old year in the same classroom and be a model for those new 3-year-olds. I want to talk a little bit about the blended aspect of that because Danielle's here. And if a student have, and Kim, if there's a student with an IEP, like here in the elementary school, we want them inclusion. We want them blended in there, learning and working with everyone. But if you're trying to do 3-year-old speech skills in a 3-year-old classroom, I wonder if Kim can hear them. So we have a resource room where she can pull out and go work a little quietly and hear things. If Danielle needs to pull out and work with someone for 15, 20 minutes on a skill and then back to class. And the nice thing is they do such a great job of it. Everyone wants to go to the resource room. So it's a thing. And sometimes you get to bring a friend. So we're all going to be buddies. Yeah, you take this one.
So what we'll be teaching, I have the curriculums that we have listed in the slides as well. But our focus is going to be social emotional development, kindergarten readiness, and again, just that love for learning. We're going to have some times where there's direct instruction, like in whole group or small group times. We'll have learning stations. We'll be modeling through play. And as well as exploration, I call it the exploration room. So in the afternoon, children will have the opportunity to go to the exploration room where we have cooking, art, science, sensory. So there's a lot of different ways of learning because as we know, not everybody learns the same way. So having all of those different opportunities for students. We will also be using research-based curriculums, we have to, for KSDE. And we will be guided by the Kansas Early Learning Standards. So these are the curriculums. CKLA is the same as elementary and middle school. So it will be a full continuum from preschool all the way to middle school. Math is building blocks. There will be future math adoptions that will then include preschool. That will come in the next couple of years. For now, building blocks matched with the Kansas Early Learning Standards really well. And we liked it, so we will use that for a few years and try to match as well as we can to what elementary is currently using. Social emotional, again, it will be character strong, which is what the elementary all the way through 12th grade uses. So that continuum will now start in preschool. And again, we will be guided by the Kansas Early Learning Standards for other subjects such as science, social studies, physical development, and social emotional work.
Go ahead. Yeah, this is all you. Yeah.
A typical day. So in the morning, we're really going to focus on the academic aspect. They're bright-eyed, they're ready to learn. That's a great time to get them for social emotional, math, reading, and phonics times. That will be a combination of some small group lessons as well as full group lessons, and allow time for play in small group stations. And so that will be the morning. In the afternoon, again, it will be a lot of exploration. So they'll have lunch, they'll have rest time, and then we'll jump right into cooking, art, sensory science, music, gross motor, library, all of those things in the afternoon.
Speaking of library, I did see Miss Drew here, throwing you on the spot. Hello. Would you give a shout out for a little bit of what you do with kindergarten, first grade? And then we're going to do something pre-K. We just haven't got there yet, except I invited her and she's here.
Well,
oh, sorry. And your partner.
Bailey, yes. Partner in crime. And we have other staff too. So if it's not me or Bailey, we'll send somebody from the library. And we like to visit the students here and get them excited about using the library and just reading in general. So we'll visit maybe 15-20 minutes and kind of do some different stories and songs. Just fun learning to get them excited. And our ES is one of our favorite partners. So we just engage there.
Okay, now here's the part which we feel pretty good, but there's some areas where we're still kind of learning, still developing a little bit. But hours, half day, and half day is at some level your choice. The half day will be 7:30 to 12. Will include lunch, And if you're someone that says, look, I'm stay-home mom, grandma's home, I want to afford, and we'll get to the prices, we want to afford the half day, but we've got something set up in the afternoon, we offer a half day only. There's also a full day option from 7:30 to 4:30. So you've got a couple of options to choose from, and we're going to keep going. It's kind of a short slide, but it's going to evolve as we go. So next slide. The fees right there, half day is $350, which includes lunch. Full day is $700, which also includes lunch. So they'll eat lunch if they're half day, and they'll leave and go home, or they'll stay and continue. The half day is AM only, because we want to get our academics in. And I don't want to make it all ABC 1, 2, 3 when I say academics, because we are going to be playing our way through those academics, but the academics happen then. Then there's lunch, and then you saw the schedule, then some rest time, some activity time, different things like that. So now the students that qualify for at-risk, you will be able to attend all, whoops, oh, I should have better text that screen. That you'll be able to attend all day for free if that's what you want. If you say, no, we've got something else going, we have another option, we only want to do half day, stay home mom, stay home dad, half day is fine, but all day option is there. Can you give, go ahead, ask.
$350 for the whole year?
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize, monthly.
Okay.
Monthly, yes, thank you.
How does that work for our Keystone kiddos?
If they are qualifying under one of the at-risk, that's covered. The students at risk are attend all day for free.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm this is a part that I'm still learning, because this isn't what I do every day in terms of kindergartners that have IEPs are kind of required to be here. So this
Right.
isn't a requirement. I'm going to point to that guy right there, Brad Newenswander, our superintendent, please.
So the state funds a student with an IEP or a student that meets one of those at-risk criteria. So if you are a student currently within Keystone, student with an IEP, then those don't apply. Because the state is already funding that half day. The student with an IEP generates state funding,
Okay.
and a student with a at-risk criteria generates state funding. That's only for the ones that don't meet one of those two.
Gotcha.
I'm just like, if it was my kid, didn't meet one of the two, then I would pay the tuition.
So I have a follow-up question on that. So like my kid has an IEP. Does that mean the state funds for just AM and then I need to pay for the afternoon if I want him to stay? Or are they paying for the full day because he has an
Right
IEP?
now, we've got, based on numbers, we're trying to anticipate and back into a budget. Right now, we're looking at, if the state's paying for the half day, we're not going to charge the other half, because there's a benefit for those kids to be there all day. We don't want that other half to be a deterrent, because just because you have an IEP, they may also meet one of those other at-risk criteria. So if the state's going to cover half the day, we're just not going to look at the other half day and hope that we can financially make it work. Our goal is 2 to 3 years from now, we'd like to break even. We know early on, there's going to be an investment on the district to get this going. So if your student has an IEP or meets one of the at-risk, then the tuition, whether it's all day or not. It's just how we're trying to go into this. And we don't know until we know how many people.
And you don't know because you want to know kind of these questions, and we don't know unless we know who's coming. So we got to work together on that. And I'll talk about that application here in a minute. It is not a hard commitment, much like kindergarten roundup. Those of you that have been through that, just because you come to roundup doesn't mean you're locked into JWPS. Some people choose JWPS, some choose another school, some choose to wait a year. It just gives us an idea. Like right now, I've got about 63 or 4 kindergartners coming next year, but August it'll be different.
You brought up a great point that made me think of something else. if you qualify for at-risk based off of free lunch, that generates even additional state funding that will be spent on those. So even if you have a student with an IEP, that qualifies you because we get funding. But if your family also qualifies for at-risk for free lunches, fill that out because that then generates an additional amount that helps keep all the other costs in. So, great question.
Yep. Transportation. Okay, students will need to be transported by families to and from school, with the exception of students with an IEP that have specified transportation needs on their IEP. The school transportation will then be an option. Now, here's the question I don't know. You can ask, but I don't know because we'll need to see numbers and plans. Can I use you two as examples just because you asked
Yep.
questions? I'm gonna make things up. These are not real. Your kiddo comes and you only want to go half day. Okay, we'll pick him up. He'll come to school. He'll leave after lunch. And we'll bring him home. You want your kiddo to come. We pick him up and he's going to stay all day. And we transport home at the end of the day. Maybe not 4:30. Haven't worked through that. Might be more to 3:30. Towards the end of the day. So when we talk about transporting now, what happens up at the high school and through Keystone? There's a morning route, pick up, drop off. There's an afternoon route, pick up and drop off. It's not that cut and dried for what we have mapped out right now. So if you're one of those families and you're wondering what happens, transportation for students with IEPs will be transported. Now, we're going to use vans to transport like we have with Keystone Preschool, so it wouldn't be a big bus because our buses don't have enough 5-point harnesses. And if we get too big of a van, I think there's like, I'm going to say 15 passenger van, we're not allowed to use those. So we like using our smaller vans works. We also would have to lock down a number of vans and a number of drivers. And in year one, we're not there. So I just want to encourage everyone, keep positive about this. Let's see where it goes. We're learning from Perry. We're learning from Holton. We've just got to get up on our feet and get going and see where we can go literally.
Just a quick question. If, say my child is at a daycare who has a child that has an IEP, we still have to personally take her to school and pick
That's a good question. Will you write that one down? I'll be honest, I don't have an answer. But I want to write that down because you're going to ask things and I'm going to say, I don't know. And we're going to have to go do our homework and find out and see what that looks like. I'm going to question it because we want to have room on the van for the IEPs. I know we have our handicap bus where some students ride that one and we've had a sibling ride with, but it's like even the sibling can get bumped if we have a need that needs that seat. So, but that's not preschool. I don't want that to be the answer exactly.
I was gonna say,
There is a situation taking place currently in the preschool like that, which is why I haven't. So, and Melvin has said transportation of students if they run out of room.
That I can be pretty sure of, but to actually talk, that's never been asked. So I don't want to give you a definite.
I was just gonna say what you're.
Okay. Okay, peer models. Now, those of you involved in Keystone's program now will know what we're talking about. And if you're not familiar, Keystone identifies students with need, and then we want to get peer models that are on level to be models for that. So whether it's speech or it's behavior or it's academics, you've got someone at an age level being a peer model. That is going to go away with this program because like kindergarten, you're just all in school together. So everyone is the peer model. Everyone is the friend. We're all in class together. We don't need to take a select group of kids and match them with another group of kiddos. Everyone is there. So if you're a peer model parent now, that will stop in May at the end of this school year. And the new school year, we are all JWPS students. You want, yeah, because you know about the QR stuff a little bit, the QR code expanded. You want to, okay, go ahead.
So security, our building will be locked during school hours, and you will have to sign in or to come in. We will have a parent sign in, and stickers for you to come in. We are working with a company to have it all inclusive as far as checking in your student, checking out your student. You pay tuition, that should be through all the same app, getting messages either from me as the coordinator or any of us as a teacher. All of that will be together within the system that we choose. So we will do that. And again, check-ins, updates, you will be able to message back and forth with us. And like I said, we're having conversations with the company that we believe we will go with. They just have to do a demo and prove to us.
One of those things that's under construction with us, so to speak. We've seen Perry's, we've seen Holton's. Crash has been involved with this. They talked about their program that they use. Holton was really awesome. Parents showed up, hello, goodbye, hug, kiss, hit the scan, went to work, and then they were logged in and ready to go. Super easy, super secure. I really liked what I saw, and I'm looking at it with eyes that have never seen that before. She uses it every day. Okay, some other new things, and this is where we get a little loosey-goosey yet, because this is part of the things we're still working on. Well, we've come a long way since June 14th last year. We have been making grounds and making pathways. There's still some things they don't know, but have you seen the new playground? Have you driven through Ozaki? There's pictures of it out front. It's looking great. There will be a fence around it. There'll be sidewalks that go around it. There'll be trikes. There'll be lots of fun. We're looking forward to that. Library. Yes, we're going to have our library. We'll have a media room. We've talked to various people. We've got some donations coming in. They've been cleaning out the closets, and the grandkids' books are going to go away. Would you like them? Will we buy new books? Yes, we will. Is it going to look like this day one? No, but we have goals. So we just got to get out there and get started. If you're having a garage sale and have some books, toss them our way. I talked with someone today that was like, how can I help? And so we're like, hey, we need books. So just lots of little ways and little things. The exploration room. Oh, this is going to be my favorite room. I'm just already excited. You want to talk about this one?
Yeah. So it was the old home ec room, if you have ever been in that building. So there is still a kitchen in part of it. And so there's a kitchen. There's a section for art right next to that. For the other half of the room, there will be science and sensory kind of set up in a 4-quadrant area. So that's where afternoons will be spent, half of the afternoon for all of us. Cooking, experimenting with those things, having a lot of science experiments, sensory play, in just a variety of ways, and just a ton of art projects hang all over your.
If you come out clean, you didn't try. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Preschool contact information. Now, this is something still a little under development. Currently, the building is housed both with Keystone offices and the John Dewey Learning Academy. John Dewey Learning Academy will be moving out, which is where we're getting our space. They have a different location. Keystone offices, so places where Hannah can go over there. The director has an office. Keystone also manages several other things for the state. They will have offices there at one part of the building. And we are working with them to say, how about, and I'm making this up, we'll pay for the custodian, you pay for the secretary, we'll pay for the lights, you pay for the water. We're working out our negotiated contract with Keystone to how are we going to cover things. Going in the first year, you might be calling a Keystone phone number and asking for the preschool. We're working on that. We'll be using JWPS emails. So if you're familiar with our emails here at the school, they will match what you use K-12. It'll just be pre-K-12. Website is active. It's up. It's not real full. It's being built. Things are happening, but there's a website, usd340.org. Click schools, JWPS. There's your website. Facebook is up, right? Yep. Well, oh, yep. And yep. Okay. So Facebook is up. We can be sharing more and more there as we go along. And then the interactive app that we just talked about. So all those ways are coming along, and I'm sure more ways will develop as we go. Nursing services and time. We were just talking today. We're going to set up a time. Bree and I meet once a week at least to run through what are we doing. She's going to be meeting with our food service director to talk about, okay, lunch, what's that going to look like? She's going to be meeting with the nurse. She doesn't know that yet, but we're setting up a meeting to sit and say, hey, how are we going to do this? What's it going to look like? So we're building that program now. The lunch program, double prong going on is we're looking at piloting. What would it look like for a centralized kitchen at Jeff West? And we're gonna pilot that with the food being prepared and ready at the high school, transported over to Ozaki where they will eat family style. And so they're gonna meet because when we do that, we can't use styrofoam and plastic. We've got to use plates and silverware and cups, just like kitchen tables. So we're gonna be working through that. Menus, food items, all of those things still very much under development, but we're gonna meet, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna make the plans. And LaDonna, our food director, is on board and ready to go. Daily schedule, she gave you a little taste of it, but when we really start rolling and going, it's gonna shift and shuffle. We'll learn some things. What does that 7:30 to 8 o'clock look like? Because we're not gonna jump into learning at 7:30, but by the time, kind of like here, there's a 7:30 drop off and we have a way we do things, but at 8 o'clock, bells ring and we get busy. I can see something like that formalizing real fast. Contact information, if you want to take a picture of that, or just know it's our first name dot last name at usd340.org. I could not, oh, that's why, because I didn't put a space. That's what it was. I couldn't get hers to turn red. So you can contact any of us. Our website, usd340.org, choose JWPS. If you also just give a call here at the elementary school, you can catch me at that number. If you have questions, comments, concerns, anything, let us know. We're trying to think of everything. By August, we will have thought of most things. Having our team on board will speed that up. But just like tonight, when you threw out a good question, okay, now we've got some homework to do. So happy to hear that. Okay. Oh boy, here it is. Yay. Sign up. Now again, sign up. It's that us helping you, you helping us. This is going to give us some numbers. This is going to give us a feel for where are we coming from. And for budget sakes, if you qualify for something at risk, that's a good thing to help us with the program and keep costs down. So numbers matter. It's not a commitment, but help us plan. It gets your kiddo into the Jeff West system. So as you get it, and I don't know what this will look like. We've never had a group of 4-year-olds, but kindergarten roundup next year should look different, might feel different. I don't know what that's going to be, but you'll be in the system. We roll over. We'll have data on your kiddo that we don't have now. As we do testing in kindergarten, first, second, third, all the way up, we'll start doing age appropriate evaluations and screenings, and we'll have data coming into kindergarten that we don't have any other year. Online enrollment will be coming in July. That's kind of a question I have. Is yeah, you're signing up here tonight, but just like our kindergarten families that signed up last or Monday, they're just kind of in the they're just there. They're on a piece of paper right now. They'll get put in the system and they can go in and enroll online. And I see that coming on board for preschool as well. That makes it a little more official, but you can still change your mind in August. You're still not obligated, but it is something that'll be coming along. And then oh, you will, a state issued birth certificate. You're going to hear this at kindergarten roundup, so just get used to that. State issued birth certificate, up to date shot record or exemption form, and a current physical. Just be thinking about those things as we get ready for enrollment so we can start on time. Without those things, we can't start. Those are some official things that I do. While we do questions, I want to hear, we're going to type some questions down. Please ask questions. We might say we don't know. We're learning too. I'm going to pass these around 2 places. Please take 1 per family. Thank you. If you have friends, take 2. Everybody grab 1. And if it's something you fill out tonight and leave with me, great. I don't have a deadline for this, which is a little scary because again, we need numbers. So if you could get it back to us within a week, that would be great. If it comes in 2 weeks, you didn't miss anything. But we'd like to count as many possibilities as possible. Also want to shout out again, Tuesday night, we're doing the same thing. So if a friend asks, hey, I didn't make it, should I go? Yes, please give them. We're going to do the same thing Tuesday night. Okay, with that, questions? Yeah, aha.
I'm sorry. Breakfast and snack, is that provided or?
Snack, yes. I don't see, yeah, we've been talking lunch, but I don't see why breakfast wouldn't be. You know, that's actually, to be honest, we haven't said that word. We're kind of focused on get them here. I guess we got to feed them, you know. And yeah. So, but will you make sure we've got that one down?
I do have a question. Is
Yes.
there any sort of estimate on how long it might be before we decide that there's room for out of district and not people who don't qualify for the
Yeah.
other two things?
You know, I'm confident that we're gonna have room. I am. Right now, we've got, 3 people hired. And just a quick number. We can go 1 through 10 kids in a room with one adult. As soon as we hit 11, we have to have a pair. We max out at 20. So I've got 3 teachers, that's 60 kiddos. But that leaves no room for additional kids to join. And one thing we do know from our data of just identifying 2 and 3-year-olds getting into whether it's speech or OT or something identified through the early systems, we on average identify 18 students a year. So I just heard another classroom. And out of those 18, 96 of them qualify for some service. 96% of them, 94% of them qualify for a service. So let's just pretend it's a normal year. We put 15 kiddos in a room, then that's 60 kiddos. Well, then we identify another 20. So, but let's get in and get going because we still have that 5th room and those numbers are general. Maybe we're more like 12 kiddos per room and we have 3 rooms and then we can grow into that 4th room. I don't think outer district is going to be a problem.
Can I do a follow-up?
Please.
Do you have any older kids
Yes.
out of district that are already attending Jeff West?
We do, yeah.
Your grandfather. So if you have an app, we want any kid that's going to be a kindergartner at Jeff West to be in on preschool. And if you have a kindergartner and you're out of district, your family's already grandfathered. So you're already a tiger. So you'll already be approved for preschool. If it's your oldest and they're a 3-year-old, we still want you to fill that lead because if you ever have what we don't want is people that never intend to send their kids to Jeff West, but they don't have daycare and they're driving them from the neighboring and taking up a spot for a kid that's going to be a Jeff West Tiger. But if you've already got a kid attending Jeff West as out of district, you're grandfathered. So. Before someone asks the tuition, the $700, we came up with that by looking at what other preschools kind of charge. If we get enough, if we have enough kids qualifying stuff, we'll pull that number down. Because we do not want to make a penny profit off of a preschool. That's not why we're doing it. I don't see that going up. We will backfill from the district to try and cover. That's why it's so important to get as much information so where I can start, okay, these kids are generating 0.5 from state. We've got, if you qualify for at risk, fill it out. Because not only fill out the application, that generates, all of that just helps keep that tuition down. It won't, I'm 99.9 saying it won't go up. If we generate enough state revenue, we'll pull that number down. So we're just estimating on tuition based off what other districts, so it's a combination of resources that'll kind of say.
Yes.
I want to follow up on the being grandfathered in. My daughter is currently with your program, so she will be going to kindergarten. If would that work as my son coming into preschool?
You're already a tiger, aren't you?
We're out of district, but she is in your program.
Well, so your daughter or son that's a year.
My daughter.
And you're enrolling in kindergarten?
Yes.
If that kindergartner is accepted, which.
Probably.
Then you're grandfather.
The getting in, I say probably, I don't want to be aloof about it, but getting in at kindergarten is the easy time. It's, it's a great time. It's when we're building our class size. Now, if we get that class size built and we're sitting at 70, and there's 8, 9, 10 out of district kids in it, and someone comes along in August and says, hey, that might be when our seats get limited in a kindergarten world. So yeah, I would say if you've got your kindergartners coming in, I'm very confident we'll be okay, and little one will be on board. Yes.
How do we go about getting the copies of the IEPs if our kiddos on one?
Your district should transfer it over.
Oh, yeah, like you mean from it,
Like, do I need to get a hold of you to get Xavier's IEP, or do I need to get a hold of?
it'll,
uh,
there, do you,
Keystone?
Keystone, wanna help me on that one? Oh.
They can transfer it over, they go, and she can control her case of it.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
It's
still,
already-
we're still Keystone. What you're used to doesn't really change.
okay.
Because it's still all the same people, all the same face. Yes, Deanne's leaving, but we've got Danielle, we've got speech will show up, OT will show up, our behavior specialist, unless they are changing jobs, we're not changing who our service providers.
I just didn't know, because on the form it said it needed a copy of it attached.
Oh,
Well, would Hannah still have that centralized?
yes, but I think what that is coming from the state to say, are you a qualifier? He's in.
He's already in.
He's already in, so yeah, you're okay there. I see what you're saying. Some of those things have the little qualifiers, and if you go to the state, there's paragraphs after each one. Don't let that worry you, because like in your case, he's in, we know who he is. He's in the system and just rolls. Just like when our 4-year-olds come into kindergarten, those IEPs just roll over. We have a transition meeting and whoop, we're kindergarten.
And how does that work? Let's say, because he went on it, in January of this year.
Mhm.
So how does that work if we evaluate in January of 26 and we say he's not on the IEP anymore?
Okay, someone moves off the IEP.
Is he coming with, he's coming with
He's
that?
Coming with. Yeah. Well, not,
Oh, no.
yeah, no, not leave,
No.
not leave.
Is that?
I took it as if,
Work if it drops off, say
if,
January.
Right,
But-
if he gets dismissed or no longer needs the service.
Right.
I can't imagine that we would.
You would still receive services, you just might move from the state funding for an IEP to be a tuition, but they're still gonna remain in preschool.
Okay.
yes, I'm sorry, I was going with the tuition was where I hesitated.
Well, that's
Was,
kinda where
you're now not qualifying, so now you're tuition based, that was mine,
Yeah.
but I wanted, those things we have to talk about.
But I think that triggered a good point, that everybody should mark all of the options that might apply to their family, because maybe your situation
Uh-huh.
will change.
Mhm.
I think one was single parent, maybe
Yes,
single parent gets married, but you still have one of the others, so the application will
good
check
point.
all the ones
Thank
that
you.
apply.
It's not choose one, it's mark all that apply.
Mark everything that applies, because you could move from one area to the other. And the more we know, like, if you're, for example, it might just be you're a single parent. Mark that, if nothing else applies. But if you're a single parent, you believe also might qualify for free lunch, make sure you mark that and fill out the application, because then that triggers additional resources that keeps tuition costs down. Great question.
Yes, ma'am.
What if your child doesn't have a box to check, then there's a chance they won't get in?
No, that just means you may be then fee based.
Yeah.
So you still attend the preschool, but then half day, full day fee would apply.
But was for the at-risk ones, like if there was a level, like the at-risk and IEPs and all that, IEPs, they get priority per se versus the tuition ones, because we're trying to get state funding, you know what I'm trying to say? I guess-
Yes, because we by IEPs, we legally need to provide the service. And
Yes.
so, yes, there's that priority.
Okay,
But number wise, we have enough teachers, enough rooms, enough chairs. You're not gonna be on a waiting list because we have that many IEPs. we're gonna get,
I mean,
we're gonna
sometimes you
get
may
you.
not know.
And
when they're
remember, I've
so
got a
young.
5th room,
they
so
have
let's
one.
just keep
Okay.
going. Yeah.
Well, I
yeah.
was gonna say, sometimes you may not know if they're an IEP either, if they're being so young.
Yes,
Right.
yeah,
So you-
and that could happen mid-year, something
Okay.
comes up with, hey, did you notice what we're okay? We talk, we have a meeting, we check some data, and it changes.
So Jessica, I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't think we will be able to say it enough. I think we have to hear it 5 or 6 times that we have enough space over there in that building to serve any 3 or 4-year-old, regardless whether you are meeting an at-risk criteria, an IEP, or you're just a tuition, but we have enough space to serve every Jeff West 3 and 4-year-old. Even the out of districts, because you've got other kids. What we don't know going into August is who's gonna sign up? Do we need 3 classrooms, 4 classrooms? But if you live in this district and you live in this district, your kid's getting served.
Okay.
We just need to know so we can
Mhm.
budget wise.
Yeah.
But if we had 80 people 80 students ready to go, we're hiring that 4th teacher. We just gotta,
First
we're
year.
backing into this first
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, okay.
So. that's-
Yes,
We're following the school calendar, correct?
yes,
So in December, is that tuition rate prorated based off of like how, because you're typically averaging about 2 weeks in December?
I'll get back to you. Thank you. No, I don't have an answer. I don't want to overcommit. I don't see why that wouldn't work. I don't know what other programs do. My kiddos are 21 and 26, haven't been in this world for a while. But I know things like that happen in daycare, and we're talking daycare. They go on vacation and you pay anyway. It's like, so yeah, I think, yeah. But let's write that down, because if we're following our school calendar, also in November, we are off the week of Thanksgiving also. So yeah. Yeah, now snow days may not be prorated. I could just throw that in probably. In service, we'll need to counter, yeah, we'll have to count the spring break in March. So you raise a great point. We'll talk
And
about
I'm the
that.
budget. already.
There you go. That's why he's here.
I'm the one that's gotta financially make it work. I'm just trying to look at back into what it's gonna cost to operate. Since we're a preschool and not a daycare, we can't operate during the summer. I mean, so it's just like the school year. In year 2, we want to add parents as teachers if we can. In year 3, we want to grow it to where we can start doing. That's why the time slot is 7:30 to 4:30, because if we go earlier or later, we have to have a daycare license from KDHE, and that just, so 4 years down the road, it could look different. We're just trying to get started.
And on that moment, KDHE really helped us out. They were over there looking, talking, sharing bathrooms, playground, all the rules, all the things. And they were there with Kneecap for a little bit. And then they said, well, what about Jeff West? And we're joining. And they said, well, do what Holton's doing. What's Holton doing? And that was the Kansas Department of Ed model, which is a school, not a preschool, a school, but not a daycare. And that I know how to do. So it really made me feel a lot better. I did visit the Holton toddler infant room. Hey, it's year 3, year 4, maybe we'll get going. Another down the road is we want to make sure, one way we want to get quality staff is to be able to offer young families daycare, childcare. If you know Mrs. Town, 2nd grade, little baby Hollis is about 10 months old. She's on the list. She's not old enough yet, but we're building a baby list. I did see a couple babies come in. If they're not on the list, get on the list. We've got kids under the age of 1, and every year we'll just move them up a notch, and then we'll catch you when you're 3. Start building that list. So we're going in for this. While you're thinking, because please ask. While you're thinking, I want to give a shout out to Jefferson Assembly of God for coming tonight for the childcare. They help us out in the summer with the big back to school night or a parent open house night that we do. And I said, hey, and they're like, ooh, what are we gonna do? And I was like, not like the summer. This one's much different. So they brought a few people and they came in the gym to play. And I really, if you would please give them a big thank you for volunteering to come out tonight. Remember, Tuesday night, another option for friends, families that are wondering or thinking about. Before we go, any questions? Yes.
Just want to make sure I understand you correctly. So you said you can have 20 kids per one teacher?
Sorry, teacher para is 20. When we hit 11, there has to be a para. Yeah, and then just
Per adult.
10 per adult.
10 per adult. And then just throw in that Danielle will be there with some special ed paras also doing her service in the rooms. So that will add a few extra adults. Something we saw at Holton and that we're very much behind. We saw this at Perry too, getting high school kids involved that want to go down a pathway towards education and they need time. I talked to Washburn Tech and they place their preschool students in their home districts. So we can work with Washburn Tech, we can work with our own high school and start getting students, future teachers, future, Tigers, families, they can get involved and we can get help that way. Now, that's less official than the ratio we have to follow, but we're looking at other avenues. And then, hey, volunteers, who wants to come read? Who wants to be in the activity room and get dirty? So,
My child's completely feral. I was just making.
All three of
When you walk into one of the classrooms, it will not be, out of the ordinary to see 3 to 4 adults. Just like if you walk into the kindergarten classroom on first grade, it's just a combination of a blended program.
yes.
And this is like one where with a late September birthday, they turn 3, then they can join. It's not like they have to go by the school year.
Do you know any deeper on that?
It's to be in 3-year-old or 4-year-old or kindergarten, the birthday has to be August 31st.
Okay.
Which just means, the September, it would be the next.
Okay, so it is like if they're not by August 31st, they can't join this fall, they gotta do next fall.
But if your student is having an IEP, they can join throughout the year.
Yes.
Okay, only with the IEPs though, for mid-year.
August 31st, if you will be able to go. Come on, correct?
3-year-old?
Yes.
Yes, September 1st is. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll be here for a minute. I would like, if you are thinking of a question, someone else probably is too. And I don't want to rush you away, but if you got it all, that's great. Thank you. If you want to ask a question, shout it out.
What if your child has a peanut allergy?
Drop that down. I'm just gonna put allergies in general. Yeah. I mean, it's not that we're going to ignore it. I can't give you a verbatim answer of here's our plan. But we
So, enter into our classroom, it'll be a lot easier for all the positions in the classroom. So we just within.
We are so excited as a district to launch this. But we are literally building it as we go. But it's going to be amazing for your kids, our community. Early childhood is the game changer for kids to be successful. So
yes,
we're excited.
thank you very much. Have a good evening. Drive safe. If you have a question, we'll be here for a minute.
Just a few like pens we can read about.
Oh, that would have been a great idea, wouldn't it?
Same thing, I was like,
Yeah. Thank you. Jill, this is Jill's space, so she.
yeah.
Aaron,